Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending where you're at in the world. We're going to be testing out some decks today. So we qualified yesterday with the play-in with the combo cheese deck. This deck kicked ass in best of one. I don't think it's viable in best of three because people then know what you're doing with the 9 lives, donating it, and they can play like pick your poisons or stuff like that and kind of get you that way there. So no memes today. We're gonna try it out. Now, you can see on my tracker, I'm actually 36 and 20 with Gruel. At one point, we were 34 and 14. Went on yesterday to play 2 and 6 in our game. So the meta's kind of shifted. Gruel, as much as it hurts my heart, wasn't doing too well. So there's 4 decks. Kind of want to give a try out today to see how they play out. One added wrinkle that I do need to consider when playing in the qualifier next week is I'll be in a vehicle, so I got to play on my iPhone. So one thing, power level consistency is something we're going to test, but also, can I play it on a tiny little screen while actually playing the games? So that's something I'm going to want to see. We're live on YouTube, by the way, so you'll see the chat. Good morning, dear general. So this will be a VOD. With the VODs, when they go publish as well, I apologize. The first 12 to 24 hours, YouTube locks the monetization until it's published, so I can't remove ads. So if there's a lot of ads, I apologize. I try to pull them off as quick as possible. But there's 4 decks we want to try today. So the mono red deck's been picking up popularity, kind of similar to the Gruel deck, but a little bit more linear and aggro. I looked at 5 or 6 different lists. Reduke had something on Channel Fireball, so tried out a combination there. I was playing this on my iPad and went 4-1, so promising there. This one's pretty easy to play. This is a Rakdos Vampire deck, pretty stock. Some Bone Crushers main to deal with the early aggressive decks, some Archfiends kind of mixed into there. No Shieldred in this list. Islanders. And then Phoenix, just because Phoenix is very good. A little concerned just with reps of Phoenix, but pretty stock Phoenix list here. And then lastly, the one we're going to start off with today is Mono Green Devotion. So we've had a return of the Power of Devotion. Another deck that I kind of mismatched elements from ones that I saw on the internet. So the original list came from Jaggermans on Untapped. They went 26 and 8 with a version. The only difference in their list is they were playing Emrakul the Promised End instead of Elish Norn. I'm afraid to play Emrakul on mobile because I think it's going to crash my phone. So I don't want to do that. Instead, Elish Norn, really good against Amalia and incidental creatures coming into play. The way you cast Elish Norn in this deck is either through the Temple Gardens. Actually, this list is very odd because it's not playing Sunken Citadel or Leyline. Hold up. Why didn't it copy properly? Okay, one sec. There we go. That was very weird. Okay, so it pulled in an older version of the deck, so we're gonna take a look at this one again. So I think we're okay. We'll give this one a shot. So there's no Elish. I think I do want to try Elish Norn. So that's one thing. We'll take a look. I know Jaffer got it in best of one yesterday, playing Todd Anderson's build. So let's see with this how it looks. What do they play? They're playing Invasion over Wolf Willow. This helps you find the Nykthos, which is really strong. And just 1 Pelucranos, and then play Elish Norn. Now, the one thing we want to do, so there's the lairs, there's the mountains. No Sunken Citadels, I think, is wrong. This card just plays really nice with... Then we want Temple Garden. Put in 2. Now, a weird card, Hostile, I'll explain. So basically, you're playing this card just in case you mill over your Uvenwald oddity, because the whole thing of this deck is you storm off, put a bunch of creatures. With the mana, you flip Uvenwald oddity, and then give all your things free trample and haste. Kind of like Craterhoof, so hostile helps you find that. You can also play a castle. Okay, so let's try this. See how this one goes. Sideboard's pretty clean on this list, all things considered, and we're going to be looking at it's similar to the old mono green where there wasn't too much sideboard. General, to be honest, Historic's gonna and Timeless is gonna change so much. I'd have to play the format. I'd be very leery to suggest like play this, play that without actually trying stuff out. I'm gonna try next week to jam some games in both formats. I do have to go into the office a couple days next week, so we'll see how much I can get in. But okay, so for the deck itself, Leyline, try to get this into your opening hand, comes into play. Basically, we're playing this for free Devotion Enabler. It also makes all our stuff every color. Less important there, but it does help a little with the fixing. Makes like Nykthos tap for green on its own. With the Leyline, if you go Sunken Citadel, you can activate Nykthos on turn 2 with 2 lands and generate a whole bunch of mana that way there. Just really trying to abuse Kiora Storm. Another new card in the deck is Outcaster Trailblazer. What this card does here is you can plot it early, but you can also just cast it for 3 mana. It adds a mana to your mana pool, and then it has the Kiora ability. Whenever a creature power 4 or greater comes into play, you get to draw a card. So that with Kiora draws you a whole bunch of cards and kind of pops off in that respect. Uvenwald Oddity, like I said, once you generate like huge amounts of mana, you're able with the Oddity to transform it, and then the other creatures you control have plus power, trample, and haste, lets you just overrun your opponent that way there. The invasions help us find our Nykthos or other kind of key cards. Sideboard's really clean. Pick your poisons. Brought in against like, looks like the Phoenix matchup. Actually, doesn't, not even. It was just the vampires on the draw. Stonebrain for like Amalia or combo, and License Her for Phoenix. And then against the aggressive decks or like heavy discard decks, we have Obstinate Spaleoth. So let's delete you because you're old. Mono green. The right one? Is the right one? The right one. Sorry about that. Thought I imported the right one, but I guess I got an older version of the deck. All right. So we'll try a couple games of each. Yeah, so it's one thing to remember. Those formats usually take like a little bit of time to just settle out. So even be wary of anything that's claiming day one to be the best deck. The reps have to be played. So like in Timeless, Rakdos Scan will probably still be the best deck. That's very powerful on its own. But that's like basically a modern deck that's been ported over. So that makes a bit of sense. But historic, like the Kappa Cannoneer decks could be reasonable. You have a lot of cheap artifacts already, and that just plays into the existing decks that are like the blue-white or maybe like Izzet artifacts. Even like, so you kind of have a shell there to play with, which is a little bit better. El Moliardo. First. So we have the Leyline in hand, but I actually don't have plays until turn 3, and I don't have Nykthos. So it is a little slow. I think we mulligan. Okay, I'll keep this hand. I think we put... actually interesting. Like Cavalier or Storm. I think we put... I think we keep Cavalier, put Storm back. So the other hand had Leyline, but we weren't doing anything till turn 3. If I had a Nykthos in that hand, I'd keep it. Merfolk. Okay. Deck you don't see too often. Elish Norn's really good against them. I think we're just getting Kiora here. So we gotta be mindful of Spell Pierce out of them. Okay, so they're the Kumana Deeproot deck. Okay, so what we're able to do here... So I can do this, because this activates Nykthos. I can Kiora untap, so... Probably... just another Cavalier. I guess Old Growth Troll is free devotion-wise. Okay. So next turn we kind of pop off. I appreciate it. Like, always look at stats, right? That's why I always keep my untapped public. Like, the deck, like, I was claiming Gruul was good because I was winning with Gruul, and I had the stats to back it up. Like, you want to be mindful. Even when I'm doing the curated content now, I make sure during the wrap-up to show all the stats. So, like, the Mono Red video I put up, there's 4 wins in it, but I played 10 games and I showed the results after, and I said, like, it was 4 and 6. So, it is what it is there. They can flash in here. That would only go to 5. So if they have a Lord, they flash in. That goes to 5. That's fine. Okay, so I think you need to go full control here. So I think we still Cavalier here first. Keep this Nykthos. We draw a card. Trailblazer's sick. So this is the part where we kind of storm off. Add a green mana. So I'm trying to do this all while Kiora is still out so I can get the untap. So add green. Their like Spell Pierce style effects don't really do much here. So now we're just gonna storm off. So I'll draw 2 cards here. And we're just trying to find our Ubenwald. I guess we kind of fizzled out a bit here. Because I can make a bunch of mana, but I have nothing to feed it into. But like we still got a big board. So even like our failsafe is like, okay, I've had 3 lines in play and I put in like what, like 20, 30 mana. So Kumano can make a big board of creatures. So it's something we need to be mindful of. Castle's not where we want to be. I think we're doing this. So they can block, get some tokens. We're kind of like fizzling a bit. Old growth dying is fine. I messed that up. I needed to kill. So we'll sacrifice here. I'll draw 3 cards. The nice thing is we're still able to like generate a big board state. I don't think I could play this deck on mobile. Oh my god. You serious? We're literally drawing all lands. Where are our creatures? Where are our storms? We have 27 devotion and nothing to play with it. This deck's strong, but we'll we'll play the game. I don't think I could play this on mobile. Too many clicks with like your sequencing of things. So that does get him blockable. So that's notable from a clock perspective. So this will draw us 3 cards. This is actually hilarious. Like we've drawn every land of our deck. All 4 storms are in the bottom third of our deck. They could put a counter on everything. This is so incredibly unlucky. So let's draw 4 cards. Thank you. The problem is we're only at 16. So I have to be mindful of like the Trailblazers and Cures and stuff just drawing me out. Like absurd the So I do need to try to find the oddity, which we'll do next turn, I think. Okay, so no, because oddity draws me out. The problem is like I'm drawing my whole deck. So I need to have my things die. So we're gonna lose just because I can't. Because we had everything in the bottom. Like that's so frustrating. We had such a good setup and then just didn't see anything. Okay, so choose cards to keep. Doesn't really matter. So I need them to attack here. I shouldn't have played Elishnorn. It drew me too many cards. Yeah, I'm dead. So I technically have the win, but because I can't generate, I don't think there's any sideboarding for this. Like, pick your poisons too narrow. I guess Elishnorn isn't that great. Just play that. For Baloth. I mean, you can't get more unlucky than that. We drew like... I'm curious, how many lines do we play in this deck? Because at one point we had 6 lines left. So we drew 15 lines. Or like we saw 15 lines throughout. No Nykthos, but still with like Trailblazer, it's good. I can also plot the Trailblazer. If we draw a line, then I won't plot it. Because the thing we have to be concerned of is they showed Mistbinder, which can interact with this on plot, which they likely still keep in against us. Okay, we just drew Nykthos because we're champs. No blocks. Play second Nykthos. Draw some more cards. Boo! One off from being able to storm this turn. So that was my turn 3. Being control should be fun. I tried. I hearted other cards, but we played Seto Kaiba yesterday, and we went back and forth in the Shadow Realm with them. Alright. That's pretty good. That's pretty good! Like, that first game we should have won. It's just when we didn't shuffle our deck well, and everybody, or the opponent cut our deck in a way that put all our cards to the bottom. It didn't really help our case. This hand's really slow, won't do anything. Okay, we're gonna keep this hand because we have the Nykthos ley line. But this is a really sketch hand. Yeah, so you can find all my deck lists. Give me a sec. If you go into the video description on Untapped, you can find all my deck lists. It'll show up right after this game. This is the first game we're playing with the deck, but if you go here, it'll show up here. I want to save the oddity. One sec. So if you go here, after the game, you can find it here. Every deck I play, you can always find there on my Untapped. Boo. Guess we'll take this. Hidebinder. Magic is a skilled game. Want to trade 4 things? So I gotta be mindful with Tidebinder, because Tidebinder can stifle one of my abilities, including the Uvenwald. That's 8. I could just get the trample damage in, but I think setting up could be good. Well, that's certainly not good. In retrospect, we should have just flipped Uvenwald. So they can soak up some here. Bit rough. Okay, so we know they have this in hand. So we have to kind of play around them. Yeah, this one is, I'll be honest, it's a bit of a weird one. So we're going to play a game of chicken with them. This is what? 7 mana to transform? So what I'm trying to play around is they can Tidebinder my trigger. So I need to kind of force their hand. But next turn I have enough mana with the trigger on the stack, I can activate it a second time. But then it would still stifle, so that wouldn't work. Problem is with like Lair, it doesn't actually do anything. Just a weird game. Because they're going to be able to swarm the board. Them having Tidebinder is just really annoying. I needed to flip it that previous turn. Because they're just able to kind of go wide now. Yeah, we needed to flip it. The Cavalier missing was pretty bad. I don't know if this does what I think it does. Okay, it does. Okay, so that's actually kind of cool, because what we can do... I can reset my Ubenwald. Problem is they're going so wide here that they're just going to beat me. We just flooded out after. That Tidebinder ended up just beating us. We had the win again, but... First game we kind of mulled into oblivion. Second game, this Deeproot's been kicking our ass. They also drew that, which is good at shutting us off, but... I can't play this deck on mobile, so it's fine. We'll just switch up to a different deck after this. Oh my god, you can only do that as sorcery. I think they could just kill us next turn, so it doesn't really matter. That was dumb. So I needed to do it the other way. Yeah, we're just dead here. Like, we're just wasting time here. Alright, so this mono green deck, like, we're just gonna get rid of it. I can't play this on... So for those who just tuned in, I gotta play the qualifier on my phone, because I'm gonna be heading to a Father's Day celebration, like, an hour and a half away. And it's at the same time, so... Let's just get rid of you. Probably try Vamps. So the thing is, like, I know Vamps is going to be kind of expected, but it is a Fable deck. This one's on Archfiend, which is nice. Some Bone Crusher Giants. So let's give this one a shot, see how it plays out. So Elish Norn's good against like Amalia or stuff like that, which normally you wouldn't really have game against. Anything with ETB. If you want to just, I'd play like another Upenwald. Like that game, we just needed a second copy. It feels good to be the Thoughtseize deck. Mirror. So I went with Fable here over the Preacher because it can help me set up to find a Sorn. So set up like that. Want to ideally dig one deeper here. One Bankbuster main in our deck. What's the Mutavault count? 3 Mutavault, 1 Cavern. 1 Hive, 2 Dens. I got rid of Blood Tithe and a Blood Crypt. Even if they go Ripper here, we'll name Vampire here. So I'm not preemptively doing the push. Because they'll go to activate. And that will kill it. So next turn, I could potentially just do Preacher shenanigans. I can Vein Ripper. If we hit a land, I can Vein Ripper and copy it with Reflections. So we might just be on the hardcast plan. I might need to just kill this Reflection. Actually, I forgot to leave the that alive. So they gave us an opening here, so I'm going to take it. Otherwise, they were going to be able to kill my Fable. Now, this could be a bad line in the sense if they have a fatal push, then we left them. Yeah, so they did end up getting us, which is pretty bad. I think that's for one there. Well, that was good. Just put pressure on them. Just play out Bankbuster here. If they somehow have the kill spell for Ripper, I can just animate it. They can also Blood Tithe. They'll have to sack a lot, which plays pretty well for us. So, mono green, cool shit, but can't play it on the phone. This deck seems a lot more reasonable to play on the phone. So we took a chance there. In retrospect, killing the Fable probably was better. But here they got a sack. So they're going to take a lot of damage here. This is why we played it, so I can crew here. And now I just fling something at them with Sorin, and they're dead. So we beat them that way there. So they are on the little dude. This version's opting for Bone Crusher Giant as opposed to a couple less vampires, but gives you some more action against the aggressive decks. Okay, they could survive by throwing something at me. Hey, Golden Thumb. No preference right now. This is our second match. I was really on Gruel, but it's just not working anymore. So I'm opting to try out some decks. I mentioned it. I'm gonna be playing on my phone, so I need to. Let me just sideboard. I need to find a deck that's like playable enough while being on mobile. I have no clue how to do this for the mirror. Like I want blotouts and I want the other Bankbuster. Archfiend's just big. This is a 2-for-1, so what does this kill? Doesn't kill Preacher, doesn't kill... Kills Blood Tithe, kills the early drop, kills both sides of Fable. Preacher seems reasonable value. This hits Sorin. Go for the throat, hits the big things. I don't know what to do. I think Archfiend's fine. Like, I don't think I want Liliana. They have too much in terms of small stuff. Okay, so let's cut one of you. Might just be the Bone Crusher. I might just end up going to like mono red. The vampires matchup. So without Tears of Valakut that we have in Pioneer, the vampires matchup feels pretty bad. But I've been like doing pretty well against the other stuff. Kill the early stuff. Gonna go from there. Was Archfiend just like not good in the mirror? I thought like a 6-5, but I guess it gets fatal pushed. I honestly don't know how to sideboard for this deck. No, my Fable! Also, this one's like on no duress. A lot of them have duress, which I like. I should have probably played this. Main phase Takanuma. Opponent really wants to play into Thoughtseize. Maybe should have just held up for Takanuma. We'll sack here. Yeah, it'd be nice just to get like even these like fringe card like Tears of Valakut is a big card and why like vampires is so popular. Kind of annoying because that's another like we kind of zone rained ourselves. Okay, give me a Sorin. They just ripped doubles. I don't think I could play this deck. Feels too casino-y. I don't know. The important thing is like this is why we're trying out a bunch of stuff. It's just to see like what kind of decks we enjoy. I played 61. Oops. Like I'm not jiving with this. It's just not where I want to be. Yeah, I'm gonna play mono right after this. They have Kolaghan's Command and they have Preacher. I don't have an answer, but I think we do this. Like if they want to trade Preachers, that's fine. So this gets a Fatal Push out of their hand. Hey, Alexander. So the problem is Angels has a terrible matchup into Control, which is very popular. As well, it tends to do poorly. So I actually think we're going to do this turn. Sorry, give me a sec. Okay, so they still have that. They just draw. They play 2 Kolaghan's commands. Um, and then against Amalia, it tends like they can just get out life gained, and Amalia just wins that way. So like Amalia is the better, if you would, life gain deck. I think I'm gonna offer the trade here if they want. No. We do offer this. Given we're pretty much into top deck mode, opponent has 3 cards, I think I want the card draw more. So there's like the option of a naked Sorin. Opponent's shown duress in the games. No, and it's a tap blind. They hit us with the well-timed Thoughtseize, and then I draw Sorin. I just don't think like naked Sorin there does much. That's not bad. What do you got going on there? Only lands. So I know they can Sokenzan. But I think that's fine. They have to kind of spend all their turn doing that. Yeah, we'll play mono red after this. I just want to play this game out just to see. But so far, like, I'm not really feeling either of these decks. You can kind of tell by my demeanor. Yeah, I wouldn't play Angel. Like, you can do it, but it tends to be... Tell me you drew Fatal Push. So we'll probably just eat. Like, they could draw a card here. They take 3 damage. They're going to kill my Sorin, but I think that's fine. Might have been right to keep drawing cards. But they're kind of taxed into their mana to keep attacking into Sorin. Yeah, they're going to do this for Ripper. But they don't have a Ripper in the yard, do they? No. So they could get Preacher back. So that's actually fine, because Preacher doesn't do anything here. Okay, that's actually good. Problem is I don't have... I can attack in. Probably still worth it from a pressure perspective. Again, as much as possible, I want to tax their mana here. Just to be like... So they'll be able to kill Sorin here. Well-timed duress there. We were hoping to pick off a Mutavault. Okay, so with this line, they actually can't kill Sorin. And Preacher. Your crew 3, so... This works out pretty nice, because I could do this through here. Forces the block out of them. So normally I would put the counter on Blood Tithe, but I'm likely going to sack the Blood Tithe. So let's just make a big Preacher here. It's also harder for them here to, like, they would need something to enable Revolt. Which also isn't, like, great for them. It's a good sign, good sign. So Merfolk's fine. I'll pull up the metagame. Let me do that. We can take a look. Okay, so like we won with Vamps. I have no interest in playing that. Try again now, Tony. To be honest, Tony, I don't love this version. I want some duress in it, I think. So usually you gotta complete one game for it to show up. Here, let me pull up Untapped. We'll take a look at the metagame. Fish is cool. Fish I can't play on mobile though. There's too many tap untap stuff. That makes it a bit of a pain. Okay, Untapped. So metagame. There we go. So if we're looking at the metagame right now for Explore, best of 3. Pull it up to Diamond. Vampires is the most popular. We have Mono Green Devotion, Control, Amalia, Phoenix. The Isidin Soul deck's pretty cool. It's actually been putting up a reasonable win rate. I don't have the one Mythic, like the big score one that's there. The Mono Red Wizards deck, it's showing a pretty poor win rate right now. Like Phoenix is doing well, Phoenix is doing well. Maybe we give Phoenix a go. We'll see how it plays. So there's like this version of the Wizards burn. I'll show you the version I have as well. So this one's on 2 case main, which I do like. That's pretty sweet. The light up the stage. The sideboard, pretty clean all things considered. So I was mirroring it a lot off this. I didn't like the Roiling Vortex, but I'm curious to see, like, you can see the sideboard changes. So they brought in Roiling. Just curious versus like Vampires. They bring in Ferocidon. So maybe let's try it like as is. I have this person's sideboard guide kind of mixed in. We can use it as a modified. So like this was my Gruul list. We were doing very well with it for the longest time. But we kind of fell off a bit. It's been a bit rough. So I kind of moved off it. You see like Phoenix being popular. I don't know how good Convoke necessarily is. Like, it's pretty bad into vampires with Path to Peril and stuff. I guess you have the Forge in the sideboard. Isn't too bad. I don't love Convoke necessarily. The Transmog deck I don't think is that good. We could play Quint combo. It's more of kind of a meme deck. It actually isn't too hard to play on mobile. I don't think. Like, you just cast your spells and kind of go from there. Your sideboard's pretty straightforward. Main board's pretty, like, condensed. Yeah, Phoenix is a top deck for sure. It's just, do we want to play Phoenix? Like, I don't know how you sideboard against Phoenix with this deck. I think, like, this version of Vampires is better. With the Shield Druid, a Kalitas in here. So this is like the mono red deck. Let's give mono red a couple goes. If not, we'll try the Quint deck. So we're going to try their sideboard. I don't want to play any graveyard deck that's not Phoenix just because it incidentally gets hosed because everybody's bringing in graveyard hate for Phoenix. If that makes sense. So usually, one thing you want to do when you're approaching the metagame, if a deck's very popular like Phoenix and it interacts on a particular axis, you don't want to ever be the second best at doing it, right? Just because then you end up getting hit. So like Greasefang has fallen off because Greasefang just gets hit harder than most of the incidental stuff that's normally happening. So let's see what their deck, am I missing anything? The only change I made, I was playing one Mutavault. I like that inclusion. So sideboard, I had 3 Rending Volleys, 3 Mageborn, 1 Redcap. They were on the full set of Frenzy. I think, and then I'm on still the 4 Ferocidon. They have 1 more case. So Vortex. I guess the question, how do I want to approach? So for control, they brought in the case, 3 Ferocidons, 2 Vortex. Like, I don't love Ferocidon in that matchup. They bring in, like, against Ferocidon a lot more than I would normally bring in most matchups. I think we keep the red cap in there still. I think we largely keep it like this. I do like the Forge against control, though. And, like, you have the volley and stuff. Yeah, Magebane's sick. Like, we're not touching Magebane. Control, anything with a lot of instant sorceries, Phoenix. Notably with Phoenix, it gets around most of their 1 mana removal. Generally, if you're going to be doing a splash, it's better with green just for pick your poison because it's a 1 mana answer to Vein Ripper. That's usually how I approach it. I actually don't like Vortex. I'm going to play Forge. I think Forge is better. We'll run it like that. So the only difference with this one to the Gruul one, we have the 2 cases main. We're getting rid of Skewer the Critics, which I think is a terrible card. We have to update our art. The art's really good. Don't like the card. Let's do that. Nah, let's do Swifty. So kind of just like a Wizard's Burn package. Incidental damage mixed in. Sideboard, you got yeah, like, if you were to do Boros, the one card we're missing that really pays off Boros is Boros Charm, which we don't have in the format. which makes it a bit worse. If we had Boros Charm, there is some versions that are playing Boros in Pioneer. But they're playing like Boros Charm, then you can play Invasion's Gobukan, you can play Get Lost on the side. So there's some options there. Let's try out some Mono Red. That first hand was really slow. An important thing is always so this is actually like important because I think the vampires matchup's really bad for us. Yeah, because you need to hit Amalia at instant speed. If you don't, then they just win the game. Also, a lot of your stuff has prowess, so you want to do your spells in the combat step. So I did this because if they fatal pushed, so they actually should have waited for combat first because I wasn't going to attack with this Swift Spear. They took a point of damage. But this is the part where, like, what I don't like with this mono red deck, you have no answer on curve. So if they just Vein Ripper on curve here, I die. So, like, this is the problem with this deck. Okay, so how are they boarding for this matchup? Like, you have no answer for it, which I don't like playing a deck that has no answers. They bring in the Ferocidons, they bring in that, they get rid of the Monstrous Rage, 2 Wizard's Lightning. And a Gitu. How does that make sense? Oh, and the Monstrous Rage. So vampires are going to be very popular. I don't think we can play something that just auto loses game 1, pretty much. I'm doing this because I'm going to Kumano and to light up the stage. This lets me do this on turn 3. They have the Fatal Push. It's not bad. Lets me set up for next turn. But again, if they just have... I shouldn't have played a land. Yeah, we're punished here. Because I could have played... Could have played differently there. So we Ferocidon and kill the Blood Tithe. I think we're just going to be mana efficient here. So if they Vein Ripper here... So they do that. Them having double blood tithe, bit of a pain. Lily Edict's fine. So they're just 1-for-1ing here. So realistically, how much damage do we have? So this is 5, 10, 12. So we can't kill this turn. Since we have Swiss Spear, I probably hold the burn spell for next turn. Just get another prowess trigger. So, your triggers here. That gets him. So you can do Scorching Shot, but again, it's a sorcery speed. The big thing to Scorching Shot doesn't target Planeswalkers. So that's one notable thing. This we saw gets cheaper. It's 1 mana in combat. So it's a little bit easier for us to cast, all things considered. What we really need is the card Tears of Valakut. It's a card, it's 2 mana, deals 5 damage to target creature with flying. It can't be countered. So it's 2 mana, direct answer to Vein Ripper. 10 is terrible. We lost because we multiplied. I think we're gonna try the Quint deck. I don't feel comfortable enough running this into this deck. Oh my god. Like, we don't hit a land next turn. So like the first game, this game, decisions didn't matter, which is not something I want in a deck that's we're playing in the qualifier. There's 22 lines in this deck too. Let's try the Quint deck. So you want to be like reasonable. The thing, like, against most of the field, we're probably fine, but against like this particular instance, it's not great. So do we want to keep forcing a deck that against the deck that's most representative? All right. We went cheese last time. Let's see if we could cheese again. No, I wouldn't. It's not my preferred play style. So first off, you gotta play 7 best-of-3 matches. I don't want to play for like 5 to 7 hours. I also don't enjoy like that type of gameplay. So the one thing I'm gonna do, I don't like playing with Karuga as my companion because it basically telegraphs what deck you're on. Against the aggressive decks, you have Temp Lockdown. The one card I was thinking of was also, I guess you lose a bit out on the combo. sec. I just want to see like another version of the deck. We probably just play another consumerate. Meta. Floor. Best of 3. Play. What is in your sideboard? Show me your secrets. Play Vanquish the Horde. Problems with Vanquish the Horde, it's not great against... Like, it's good against Convoke, but it's not great against anything else. Lockdown's good against, like, Amalia decks. I could play Elishnorn. A little hard to hit. I like the Chandras. I like the Virtues. Let's do another Zoom. So this card's kind of cool because you can play it for target player sacrifices a creature with the greatest power amongst creatures they control. And it can also be used as graveyard hate for something like a Phoenix. Alright. We'll figure this out as we go along. But the thing is, so for me, I used to only play Control when I played Paper when I was a grinder. Sphinx's Revelation, Snapcaster Mages, stuff like that. Cards like Dovin's Veto took out a lot of the joy of me playing Control Mirrors because it took out a lot of the elements of, you know, you're saving 4 or 5 control spells, or like counter spells. I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me anymore. Alright, the other card I was thinking of is maybe Sunfall, because it could be used against the Vampire deck to pretty good use. Let's maybe try that. Let's play 1 Sunfall. Because notably, the lockdown messes up the combo. Okay, so how does this deck work, folks? You see, this is the weirdest curve under the sun. Basically, what you're trying to do, for the most part, let's set this up proper. So this is a 2-mana spell. This is a 2-mana spell. This is a 2-mana spell. So really your curve of the deck looks like this. There is a version of this deck that does play Gyruda, which allows you to kind of also combo in a way. Lets you just get some value that way. We might want to try that as like a backup plan. But the core of the deck, you're casting either Quint or Trumpeting Carnosaur. That will allow you to discover your deck. You'll always discover into either Release the Winds or Spark Double, which lets you recast Quint, get multiple copies, and you just burn them out. Trumpeting Carnosaur also lets you find your combo that way there. You find lands and gain life with Spinewood Armadillo and Herd Migration, removal with Bedeck. You ramp with Beanstalk Giant and Greater Tanuki. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the deck. You cheese them out that way. This can be used as land removal. You have Leyline Binding with a bunch of Triumphs as well in your deck. Consume Commemorate. So we're using a lot of split cards here. They allow you to exile a graveyard for 2 mana, or for 4 mana, your opponent has to sacrifice Vein Ripper. Thought Distortion for the control matchup, eat away at their hand. Chandra also as a way to put pressure on control. I don't love the Sunfalls or the temporary lockdowns here. I understand the logic that you bring it in against more aggressive decks, but it does kind of mess up your combo, but we'll give it a shot, see how it plays. We have the Sunfall in here because this also gets around Vein Ripper. Then we got Mirror Shell Crab, counterspell that we can play, Virtue of Persistence. As just like a cheap 2-mana removal spell. In this Quint deck, I'm curious if they're on Release the Winds. There's a couple different versions of this deck. This one's not on Gyruda. So some of them will play Gyruda. Some won't. One's on Clever Impersonator, Greater Tanuki. So it's fewer copies of... No, so they're still playing the full Bedeck package. What are we... I'm just curious to see, like, what they're skimping on here. They're playing 1 fewer Tanuki and no Herd Migration. but then they're playing the Consume Consumerate main, which actually I don't mind that. So we can bring one of these main. And then we can play another Thought Distortion side. We can play just Sunfalls. Maybe 2 Sunfalls, 1 Vanquish the Horde. And then maybe Vanquish. Actually, I do like Elish Norn. Let's try it like that. We could actually play one more card. That's actually nice. So Sunfall, Sunfall. We'll play the Vanquish. Let's try that. I don't know. So you're playing basics because you're playing Tanuki and stuff like that, but you want to find your spells. Again, folks just tuning in, some of the decks I'm selecting here to try out are ones that I can play on my phone. So the reason for Sunfall, oh, I don't know why this guy here, is because it gets around Vein Ripper. The death trigger from Vein Ripper is something I'm a bit concerned with. We're going to see how it plays. I don't love Vanquish, so I could definitely see us going back down to the temporary lockdown against like Amalia and stuff. This hand doesn't do much. I also don't want Release the Winds in hand. This hand looks good. Put Beseju back, I think. So notably we need red here. So one thing you can do, this can be a removal spell if you need to. This is probably vampire combo. So they use either fight rigging or they use Huntsman's Redemption. I should have shocked and then done white, but yeah. So we just win here. And that's why we play this deck, because it just cheeses them. So in this matchup, Sunfalls, Vanquish the Hordes. So they have Huntsman's Redemption. They'll have like Sorens and stuff. We want to Consume Consumerate. I think we get rid of Bedeck here. Just like rely on the sweepers. And they're going to deal some damage to themselves. We have access to the sweepers. Maybe we don't need this many sweepers. Just the Sunfalls and that. Just get rid of a fart. Release the Winds is the... I feel like with these things, you gotta attack the meta in a way that people aren't expecting it. Yeah, so notably, this being in hand isn't great. So as well, we can't actually cast this. I think we mulligan. We'll keep this. I'm going to keep the double quint hand. So we could get turn 2 thoughts, turn 2 Vein Rippered. Yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna get a black source with Herd Migration here. Probably get another like red source here. Now we just win. Jeez! See, this is why we play the cheese. Because it doesn't matter what they do. We just do stupid shit. Alright, that's good. Yeah, I don't want to be playing a deck where decisions don't matter. Like it was a so you're missing some cards for best of one. You could play something kind of close, but the big thing you're missing is the spark double, which makes clones of it. A lot of these cards, it's pretty easy to port over because you have the ley lines, you have the trumpeting carnosaurs, beanstalk giants uncommon, you'll have the herd migrations. So you got a lot of these cards. I guess Bedeck Bedevil's a shitty rare to craft. Okay. So far, this is meeting two criterias. Fun, and I can play it on my iPhone. And it just kind of like dumpsters. Nope. Yep. Put back Spark Double. So one thing that's a bit annoying here. Okay, that's good. This lets me deck here. So we'll see what they do. Aggressive decks are usually a problem. Heavy counterspell decks. Oh no, no, no! I forgot this was sorcery speed. Oh my god, this is gonna lose us the game. I didn't need to shock, so we'd be up 2 life. I got this mixed up with Tanuki. This doesn't matter because I had literal perfect gas. Okay, so Virtue's in. I don't think we want Elish. Consume could be fine. Actually, probably don't want Consume. Get rid of Beanstalk. We ended up losing by 2. I didn't need to shock that turn. That was on me. Unfamiliarity with the deck. It's definitely a no. It's okay. This is like a little bit of the downside with the deck where we're just not drawing the combo, right? These also aren't true ramp effects. Okay, so we got some of the combo here. We'll get a black source. Probably further from casting this, so this allows me to cast Bedeck or so I'm gonna do this because I need to Trumpeting Carnosaur on the Slick Shot here. Despise me another turn. So that soaks up a bunch more damage. Virtue's nice here. So I'm gonna do it on this. Because this keeps him off Wizard's Lightning. See if they go all out here. They should be holding a burn spell for Quint. Yes, so they lose. This is why we play all these like random shitters. Use another red source. Like we just gained 9 life this game, which helps. Comboed. I think we're just running it the same. Be honest, I think I might vanquish the whole. Yeah, so I do think we want the lockdowns. Realistically, if we combo, we combo. This is sorcery, so it doesn't play well into it. I think we're just going with the ramp here. Thin outs their deck, gets us to the higher quality stuff. What the fuck is this? One. Okay, so let's get the lockdowns back in because there's no way we're playing Vanquish the Horde against mono red. I could understand why you play Beanstalk, but I think I like having the 3/3. The instant speed with like Leyline and stuff is good. We have 2 consumes in the side. But like I think I like having access to more of these types of effects. So let's put the consume back into the side. Trim the Sunfall. And then play Leyline. Or what would we say? Lockdown. Just another go. So you can see like mono red's going to be a problem, but that's why I want to bring in more life gain elements. I think that's fine. Because if we expect a lot of mono red and vampires, let's target the meta in that manner. Just overload on the life gain effects. The 3 life is basically like a time walk in some cases. Also be nice if we don't have to mulligan every single time. We keep. I don't have Catcher or Triomart. Humans. This was another deck I was considering. We can maybe give it a go. Black white humans, okay. Get a white source here. Non-basic lands, enter, tapped. So we're gonna Tanuki here anyways, so. And creatures. Quinn here. Gain some life. So usually you want to hit the Spark Double first. And now we'll just kind of combo like that. Okay, so good start, good start. There's definitely a lockdown matchup. Definitely a virtue matchup. Honestly, even Chandra could be reasonable. This deck isn't so much on the prowess. Probably don't want Chandra. Like, we can't overboard from the combo. So I think it's just release the winds. And get out the Chandra. The deck's fine. Carnosaur helps us dig. This is our ramp, so it's... They have like non-basic land hate, which makes it a little rough. Sideboarding with this deck's so hard. It's like you have cards you can't cut. I want all the removal. I want the sweepers as well. Well, we do have that. I got rid of the Sunfalls. Trim a Spinewood. Trim 2 Beanstalks. Call it a day. Humans just doesn't have card advantage, which I don't love. These Carnosaurs might just be removal spells. Okay, so they mulliganed. Fine. It's a good one to draw. So we'll target the Thalia in combat here. So Jarina can give Indestructible. I need to draw Basic next turn. I can't shock with the damage that they have present. Just dead. Too many shock lines. That's the case. Do it like that. They didn't have Jarina. We were probably okay because I could have killed one in response. But really aggressive start from them. So no leyline here. We'll keep this one. So notable here, we'll have access to Bedeck and Herd Migration. So we could kill something early. I could Herd Migration. Just kill this. Because this is instant speed, so it can have some more utility. So we just need to find our card advantage in, or like our win con now. We might need to cycle that, so I think we just do it like this. Um, I don't have blue, so we probably cycle here. Hey, hit the ley line. Maybe I should have held this too and just kept cycling. So they're stuck on mana. I think we just keep our life total high. And fetch a black land next turn. Play Virtue. That's scary. Quint. We got like one more turn maybe. No more turns. 5. Yeah, we just didn't draw the combo. We drew a lot of lands. A lot of lands. This deck's probably too cheese. Probably too cheese. You're just... There's not enough that you can do, I think, with this deck. Try some Phoenix. I'll try this. Don't think this matchup's great for us. They can go off next turn. I cannot find a deck I like. They plot there. This will mean that they can't target. Impulse will be reasonable. We are one off, like... Maybe I should have held up Spell Pierce if they go like Kiara this turn. We'll see. But I don't think it mattered. Way too many lines. 5. Do they have Cavalier? Alright, let's try to kill him. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So I have Brazen Borer, which is actually pretty nice. We also have Lightning Axe, but if they try to like go for the combo, we didn't have a Phoenix, so there wasn't enough we could have done. I think the goal is to either bounce the Uvenwald if they try to do that. Okay, so Uvenwald was milled over, which is good. I think if it's about maximizing power. Okay, so they're playing two Uvenwalds. They're just going off here. Beat all this. Aether Gust, play some more Borrowers. So they're gonna bring in Unlicensers. So let's get out of the Phoenix plan. Let's play the Drake plan. Ashiok could be fine. Trim on a cruise if they're bringing in Graveyard Hate. These Prismari commands don't do anything. I don't actually know how to play this deck. I'm not gonna play this deck either. We're going through the gambit, folks. We're trying to find a deck that we like. Maybe we don't play Lightning Axe. They literally always have it too. You have Nykthos. Double Beseju start. So I can bounce the Kiora. I would love to like Spell Pierce it on the way down. Maybe we don't. Let's try to kill it. Folks, anybody in chat have any decks they'd suggest? Little tempo on this way. Cavalier. The problem is now I can't really get out from under this. Very cool. I love straight whiffing. We can give Convoke a shot. This is just not fun to me. Play around Spell Pierce, because why not? Having fun. Not having fun. There's like no mono red today. So do we try back with Gruul? See how that plays? Okay, so right off the bat, I'm not playing this. Not playing this. Maybe we try Amalia. Try an Amalia. People want to play Amalia? Where did I leave off with Gruul? So I think what we're going to try is the Wizards package in Gruul. Gruul Wizards. Because Arcane Bombardment's too slow for this format. You can't be playing a 6-mana do nothing, unfortunately. Most games are done. Vampires, it wasn't for me. I just didn't enjoy what the deck was doing. So get to then Wizard Lightning. do that, try that out. There's a question if I want another basic over a pathway, which I think I do. Then our sideboard, volleys, pick your poisons. We don't need the fiery impulse. Since we have more, let's play the second case. The big thing, like, I want to find a deck I enjoy playing. Because more than anything, like, if I'm going to have to spend a couple hours playing this, I want to play something I actually am having fun with. Or Roll Wizards. Like, we've been doing pretty bad today. That looks good. Yorion could be a couple different things. I think we just put back... I wonder if Enigmatic Fires is any good. I feel like might be a little too slow. Plotbird for next turn. It's likely Enigmatic Fires. Could be Grixis Transmog. I can do Kumano here. See if they react first. Maybe should have Wizards Lightninged. I probably should have Wizards Lightning. Okay. Still got 2 for 1. This could be the, like, Atraxa pile. Yep. So this is a Transmog deck. You're suspect, so you can't block. So they're going to try to transmogrify this into Atraxa. So all we need to do is keep up a piece of removal. That's not good. Realistically, that's 5, 6 damage. 6. They have a stop. So that's 5 plus 4 is 9. Again, I'm trying not to lose to Atraxa. Got him! Okay, so we're gonna bring in all this. The Wizard's Lightning's fine. So the thing is, they're gonna have so much removal that like I don't think having all this makes sense. Like having the Blossoming Defense. Because when they just have like 10 removal spells, I'd rather have the answers, I think. Maybe we play 2. Our curve also gets higher. I do want to have the removal, but I guess the cheaper removal is better. We're not always guaranteed, but we have an answer to Atraxa. Let's do it like that, I think. This is a little slow for the deck. Phoenix just didn't. So usually with this, you want to lead with the Kumano. The reason being, this takes them off the Fatal Push for the turn. And turn 4 is the key turn that you're worried about. I think we're gonna do this turn. It represents the same amount of damage, but next turn this comes in as a 2/3. They could have Path to Peril, but that wipes out their token. Okay, so they had to get rid of their token here. This does make the case turns on, but that's fine. Because now I can Questing Druid. You got me. 1-for-1's fine. See if they pop the case here. The case is nice because it gives you both the body. Hmm. Again, the way we lose this game is by tapping out. We're just going to always keep this available. We lose to Traxa, we don't lose to anything else. Like, Go Blank is kind of a dead card versus us. Like, it works well on turn 3, but at this point... So if that's the case, we're going to just use the Duress. Or use this. It'll set up our draw. We'll take a case. Okay. So they can't transmog this turn. Question is, do I set up Questing Druid or just get Sokuzan? Because I could do this, play the case, place... I think just doing this. We do have Mage Bane, so how do I lose? So if they top deck it, they beat me. Like the transmog. They just do the case here, it's fine. Need a burn spell. Need a burn spell. One-time dealer burn spell. One-time dealer burn spell. So it's kind of annoying. We don't even have enough spells in our graveyard that this got haste for the turn. Oh. Yeah, that's... Okay. Weird, but we'll take it. Weird, but we'll take it. Alright, last game, folks. Last game, and then I gotta do some lunch, take the dog out. So the problem is this is the mirror. Most likely, and this hand's a bit slow for the mirror. But I think we gotta try. It'll probably end up being... Ooh. Opponent's on Spice. Okay, so this is the Agatha's Soul Cauldron World Tree of Perdition combo. Probably be Guru. Okay, so... They have a pause, so it's either Village Rites or Fatal Push. So I didn't want a Monstrous Rage there. Jeez. Whole lot of gas being had. Just trying to beat him. Yeah. Hey Ramon, no, I did it with the blue-white, what do we want to call it? Sorry, give me a sec. The blue-white control 9 lives deck. No fatal push. No! That's sad. That's sad. Thank you for the game. Yeah, 9 lives. You play 9 lives, donate it with the Falcon, and then you blow up all the enchantments. So we actually don't have Graveyard Hate. But I think Pick Your Poison's fine. Forges could probably be fine. Just the Burning Hands as another removal spell. Probably fine like that. They're gonna bring in more removal. Question is, do we want something like Blossoming Defense? Probably not as many. Just maybe run it like that. I could see trimming like one Monstrous Rage. Mind you, the Trample's probably relevant in this matchup. Wizard's Lightning's fine. We probably win through Forge. Honestly, I think just having Pick Your Poison's going to be the important thing. And then just burn for face. That. So 9 lives reads, when this card leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. So you give it to them, and then you blow it up, and then they lose the game. It's a deck that's played more in best of 1. I don't think it's a viable best of 3 deck. I think getting this going is important, just from the discard. So I can just push through the power, I think, right now. Which is more important. Because they need another Blood Tithe to kill Swiftspear here. And then I can get to it. And then we just like push a bunch of damage. Because they'll need multiple removal spells here. They could be playing something like Path to Peril. They bin the tree. So what happens is you basically give the effect of tree to like a Stitcher supplier. And then you hit him for 1 and then it beats him that way there. Okay, so Wizards is feeling much better. Or 2-0 with it. I think we'll probably continue working on this one. I think this is probably the most viable of them. Because if we look at like what we were playing today, I didn't enjoy Phoenix, I didn't enjoy Vampires, I don't want to click through Amalia. I don't think the red version of the deck, it's more linear, which is good, but I think it's much worse into Vampires, and I think we're going to see a lot of Vampires. So I just don't want to be dead on turn 3 to a Vein Ripper. I think this might be the compromise. Just kind of playing with the full 12 1-drops, the 2 drops, and then Wizard's Lightning is our only 3. We could be playing... Actually, the one thing I noticed with this build that we'll have to fix... We need 2 Witch Stalkers in the side. That's the thing we are missing. So I think this is where we're going to end with the deck. And then I might come back later to do some more. We'll see how it goes. I think, like, for where we're at, this is a reasonable kind of pick. I hate how this looks. So for Phoenix, I don't think attacking the graveyard, because the thing is they can post forward out of it. They usually bring in Young Pyromancer against you. And the problem is you need to answer their creatures, specifically Ledger Shredder. So I found it more effective to be more linear and then use things like, basically you bring in the 2 Rending Volleys, you bring in the Pick Your Poisons, and the Magebane Lizards. So you kind of attack them on that angle there. These ping them each time. This deals with their flyers, and then this deals with like Ledger Shredder and stuff. All right, folks, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I gotta take the dog for a walk. Might be around later, but appreciate everyone hanging out today. Hope you have a great one, and thanks for testing with me. We'll find a deck. This is the part. We throw a bunch of stuff at the wall. The records don't matter at the end of the day. It's about feel, getting, like the deck we played yesterday. I literally picked it up. I had a good vibe from it, and we crushed. So it's just a matter of getting back into the feel, seeing what works, what doesn't. But thanks, everyone. Have a great Sunday. And like I said, maybe